Gargle it like it's like mouthwash.
Raining A5 Wagyu fat.
Take a piece and then just put it on your tongue and let it sit there.
It's a little bit more austere and at the same time a little bit brighter, but it's also dark fruited as well. I'd have a hard time pinning exactly where this is from, but I think it's really well made.
Interesting thing about the Iberico breed is their fat melts at a lower temperature, so like that's why it's glistening.
It's very distinctive. There's a high content of fat. The richness is really kind of there.
You got a good burger, man. What kind of monster? Look at this, it's crazy. Would take a beautiful,
I think this is criminal.
3.5 pound, award-winning A5 Wagyu steak imported from Japan and grinded up to make a prohibitively expensive and absolutely ludicrous burger.
CNBC is crazy because they asked the question, is this worth the money? Can you see how much fat there is in there?
For those who don't know, Wagyu literally translates to Japanese cow. There are hundreds of different brands of Wagyu, the most famous of which is Kobe. So all Kobe is Wagyu, but not all Wagyu is Kobe. While grinding A5 Wagyu to make burgers feels criminal, claiming you sell a specific brand of Wagyu when you don't is actually criminal. A 2016 Inside Edition expose allegedly caught Le Bernardin and Old Homestead selling fake Kobe beef on their menus. Le Bernardin was actually selling a high-grade Wagyu, it just wasn't Kobe. And Old Homestead fought back against the accusations, but Inside Edition told the New York Daily News they examined the certificate provided and it does not indicate the steak served at Old Homestead is certified Kobe beef. In fact, Larry Olmsted, author of Real Food, Fake Food, says if you see a Kobe slider or burger on a menu, it's almost certainly fake.
If I see a Kobe burger, I just assume it's total BS. I took a look at some restaurant menus from reliable places that have real A5 Japanese Wagyu, like Michael Mina's Strip Steak and Nick and Sam's in Dallas, and they're charging $45 an ounce for this meat, right? So if you're gonna grind it up and make a burger, you're talking $180 before you pay for the bun.
And if you do see a Wagyu burger on a restaurant menu in the US, it's probably Wangus, a mixture of Wagyu and Angus. But Olmsted says even Wangus is a little sketchy.
That can be anywhere from the high 40% up to 100% Wagyu, and you don't really know when you buy it at a restaurant.
Wagyu has two signifiers when it comes to quality, a letter and a number. The letter relates to yield, or the amount of usable meat compared to the total weight of the cow. The yield for our burger is rated A, which means that at least 72% of the weight was edible. Yield is typically important to producers, but for us, the meat eaters, we want to pay attention to the number. The numbers, which range from 1 being the lowest to 5, relates to the fat quality, color, texture, and how evenly it's dispersed throughout the beef. It takes 3 years of intense training before graders are proficient at rating Wagyu, and it takes 3 expert graders to rate each beef. The 3 scores are combined to give a final rating. When it comes to grading Wagyu, they are not kidding around. So, what would it take for a restaurant to serve a real deal A5 Wagyu burger? I'm meeting up with Chef Michael LaMonaco to find out.
Hey, Nate.
Michael!
How you doing?
My God, thank you
Come
so
on.
much. He owns Porterhouse in Manhattan, a high-end restaurant where a 12-ounce A5 Wagyu strip steak will set you back about $225. We're going to be trying 3 10-ounce burgers. I hate to disappoint you, but the Wagyu options are not on the menu. Up first is Porterhouse's house blend of prime beef. Next is an American Wagyu made from a Snake River Farm strip steak. And finally, we're going to try an A5 Iwate Wagyu from Crowd Cow. I'll let the CEO tell you all about it.
This is Iwate Wagyu, 11-time national Wagyu champion in Japan. A5, the highest grade of Wagyu in Japan. Not only that, it's from the region that's won the annual national level competition more than any other region 11 times.
The first burger is my prime dry-aged burger.
Before I take a bite, what's the taste?
So this has distinctive aroma.
Oh my God.
So that's 28-day dry-aged prime beef. There's also some chuck in there, but you know, to add in the fat.
There's nothing to hide behind. This is
No,
meat,
there's
salt, and bread.
That's it. Not even pepper.
You can really taste the dry aged.
Can. It's the trim, but it's dry aged prime rib. You can taste it. It does have a distinctive aroma, and it has a distinct kind of mineral quality.
This is great.
Okay, there we go.
It gets better.
Yeah.
Of course it gets better. I'm gonna take one more bite.
This is the American Wagyu. So American Wagyu is a crossbreed. It's a clone of the Angus beef and Japanese Wagyu beef. This is the Snake River burger. I think Snake River is really kind of one of the best American Wagyu. This is an experience because the cut was a strip steak.
Right.
So a New York strip, which we ground and made into a burger, and we cooked in a cast iron pan. So let's see, what's the aroma?
Caramelized.
I don't know, see it because it hit that black pan
Yeah,
with salt.
yeah.
So let's go.
Let's do it.
So you have that cast iron pan.
It's a totally different thing. It's so crispy. I guess all the fat on the outside really, really caramelized.
This tastes like an American beef.
American Wagyu. It's
Okay.
good. I
It's
think your
good.
burger was better.
I liked your
burger better. This
right.
one was good though. So I got my hands on an 11-time national champion Wagyu beef called Iwate, and this sucker costs $110 a pound.
You know, it's a modest price.
We're slumming it here.
Well, you know, but we'll do the best we can.
We will. What are you expecting out of this when you take that bite?
I expect this to be different.
I have a pool of beautiful
yes,
juice
yes.
right off
Well,
the bat.
it's already all over the bun too,
Yeah.
right? It's soaking through it.
I have been waiting for this for so long. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's so good. Look at this, it's crazy.
You love that. It's raining A5 Wagyu fat. It's very distinctive. There's a high content of fat. The richness is really kind of there.
You got a good burger, man. This though, this is exorbitant. This is
Well, this
so
is
rich.
extravagant.
Yeah, extravagant. This is ridiculous.
Do you think it's worth it?
This is the best burger I've ever had.
Is it really? This is it?
I've had them all.
This is it.
I think so. This is
Okay.
up there, man.
I'll take it as a steak. I think the grind of it changes the flavor of it
Yeah.
because Wagyu has a certain flavor, but this is not like any other burger I've ever had.
Me neither. This is so cool.
It's a trip.
Thank you
this is,
so much.
This is psychedelic.
God damn, that was cool. Thank you so much, my man. Thank
What
you.
a pleasure.
I went into this taste test thinking there is no way A5 Wagyu would make a good burger. It's too fatty, too rich, too expensive. If this burger were on a menu, it would cost about $150. But the Maillard reaction from the fat hitting the pan created a wonderfully thick, flavorful crust. The buttery fat poured out of the burger, dripping down my hands, forming a pool on the plate. Is an A5 Wagyu burger worth the money? I think my face says it all.
Gargle it like it's like mouthwash. Well, not like that.
When I think of expensive wine, I think about places like France, Italy, Napa Valley. Smell wine? But I got my hands on the first luxury wine to come out of China called Ao Yun, and it cost $300 a bottle. It's also hard to get your hands on. Only 2,500 cases of Ao Yun are produced each vintage, and 30% of that is sold in China. But is Ao Yun actually worth the money? Now, there are three primary factors that determine the price of a bottle of wine: the production costs, or how difficult it is to make each bottle. The amount of wine produced each vintage can vary dramatically depending on the weather. And of course, sales and marketing costs. Now, Ao Yun is no slouch. It received an average critic score of 90 out of 100. And Ao Yun has some firepower behind it. Moet Hennessy's parent company, LVMH, also owns Dom Perignon and Veuve Clicquot. In 2008, Moet Hennessy sent famed Australian winemaker Tony Jordan to China in search of a new terroir. 4 years later, he landed on a perfect plot for a vineyard in a remote area of the Yunnan province, about 8,000 feet up in the Himalayan mountains, 4 hours outside of Shangri-La. The location had exactly what he was looking for: a microclimate with optimum temperature, high elevation, mountains to shield it from getting too much rain, strong sun, and a good diversity of soils. But veteran winemaker Maxence Delou says there was a huge surprise at that location.
Nobody told Tony that there was some grape planted there. This vineyard has been planted in 2000 by the villager, and it's a movement coming from the government that want to limit the rural exodus, to keep the farmer in the countryside.
In 2012, Moet Hennessy sent Delou, a native of Bordeaux, to manage the site. But he says getting the machinery to build the vineyard was almost impossible, so he and his team weren't able to plant the first grapes until 2015.
Because this fragmentation, and because also we do everything by hand. There is no machinery.
It makes sense for Moet Hennessy to look to China as a growth area. In 2018, China ranked 5th in terms of total wine consumption, consuming 18 million hectoliters of wine. 1 hectoliter is equal to 100 liters. So far, all of the vintages of Ao Yun for sale were made with grapes from the pre-existing vineyard. Ao Yun is meant to prove that Chinese wine can compete with the best in the world. But can this Cabernet blend compete with 2 well-known, and I think fairly expensive wines, a 2014 Côte Rôtie from France and a big 2012 Cabernet from Napa Valley? I'm meeting up with wine expert Ana Cristina Cabrales from Morel Wine Barn Cafe in Manhattan to find out.
It's 2012, I believe, Gigal Côte Rôtie. Basically what we have here is Syrah at its best. Typically what you get from this area is plummy type fruit, a little bit of fig, a lot of this garrigue, a lot of thyme, lavender, a lot of like earthiness going on. It feels like scorched earth in your glass.
Scorched earth?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
What
exactly
is
what
with
it
these,
means.
what is with the labels?
exactly-
Like all of these flavor notes with wine. Is this real scorched earth?
Yeah, actually that's what Côte Rôtie means, the roasted coat, or slope rather.
Okay, let's try it. I have to see it.
Awesome, let's do it.
Here we go. Oh, you're doing the whole thing. Wait.
Well, that's good. That was really nice.
Okay, what's really nice about it?
It's really complex. So you feel fruit balanced by a lot of earthy tones.
You feel fruit?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
you can taste the fruit.
I agree.
Got a lot of like figs, plums. You got a lot of lavender in here.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it just feels like hot earth.
Hot earth.
Yeah.
The warmth.
Yeah, totally.
In the back.
You feel that now?
I do feel it, but I don't know if I feel it $150. Okay, so this bottle is $260. Why? How?
Well, the quality of the fruit, aging in oak, you know, the longer it sits in barrel, potentially you can warrant more of an expensive price tag.
Uh-huh.
Look at that color. How pretty is that, right?
Oh yeah. This one smells better.
Why do you like it?
It smells more. Look at me, I'm twirling like a pro.
Look at
it.
you. Talk to me.
It just
What's
smells
going on?
fresher. It does. The other one smelled flat for some reason. This one smells like super bright. Cheers.
That's pretty elegant. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, but when was the last time that
Okay,
you picked
let
up
me-
a wine of like Cabernet Sauvignon that tasted like this? Right out of the gate.
I think it's just lost on me. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying. I'm really trying. I have never heard of Chinese wine. Have you tried this before?
This is my first time, so this is quite a treat.
What are you gonna be looking for? Like, what are we gonna be doing here?
I'm not too sure what to expect. It's all about terroir now. Like, what does that do for the grape?
Terroir.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. Where it's grown, what the temperature is like, what the climate's like. Things of that nature all affect, you know, the growing of the grape, and it affects the profile.
Well, let's see if the Himalayan grapes compete.
The color is beautiful. See on the nose. So behind all of these like dark cherries, there's like a little bit of like this like black bean hoisin. It's kind of neat. It's kind of exotic.
I trust you.
Oh wow.
Oh, that is not for me. It's bitter.
It's dry.
I taste like leather.
A little bit of these like dark cherries, strawberries, and then it comes like this weird like, Asian exotic spice, and then like I get a little bit of soy and hoisin. This is really unique because okay, so we just tasted red, right? So you don't taste this like fruit forward, a little bit more like fruit driven wine. No, that's not what this is. And it's not like Bordeaux wines where you feel like this like leathery, earthy component. It's a little bit more austere and at the same time a little bit brighter, but it's also dark fruited as well. I'd have a hard time pinning exactly where this is from, but I think it's really well made. Because of that, there's probably a lot of investment that goes into making this bottle.
She has a point. Delu says his team spent about 3,500 hours per 2.5 acres to plant and harvest the grapes for Ao Yun. That's more than 4 times as much as the best vineyards in the world. Would you serve this at your restaurant?
Yeah, I would give it a try. I mean, the best part of being in Rockefeller Center is that everyone wants to try a little bit of everything from all over the world.
Watching Anna Christina's reaction to Ao Yun proves it's worth exploring. Now, I personally wouldn't spend $300 on a bottle of French wine or Italian wine or any bottle of wine for that matter. But if I were really into wine and trying to impress my fancy wine club friends, I have to say, Ao Yun is probably worth the money.
Tasting wine during the workday.
Oh, it's horrific.
I'm gonna hold my pinky out. Okay.
You're gonna be fancy.
Thank you.
All right.
I briefly dated somebody who was a big wine taster.
Ooh, that's
so
fun.
everything I know is from her.
I actually prefer white wine.
Oh. I actually don't like white wine.
I don't either. I'm a red wine woman.
Okay.
I'm not a wine drinker.
I don't drink wine, so this should be interesting to see if I can tell the difference.
Wine is wine.
Okay.
I drink wine far too often. I would be surprised if I didn't know what these are.
The most I've ever spent on wine has probably been about $10 at best.
The left one, number one, is darker than the one on the right side. And my instinct is usually the cheaper ones are lighter.
This one is probably the cheaper one, just because it's like see-through, right? And I feel like that's not a good thing. I don't know.
They both look red to me. I don't know.
Look how clear it is. Clarity.
Clarity's good. It's like diamonds, right?
Yes, it is.
This one is probably more expensive. It's more of like a lighter red color. This looks like wines that I drank in college.
This smells like it tastes good. It smells like it tastes more dry.
When I go like this one takes longer to climb down the glass, and this one goes down right away.
The alcohol content is dripping down slower, which usually means it's a cheaper wine.
All right, bottoms up.
Do the swirl.
Okay. Cheers.
Let's do it.
Okay, I just tried that. I don't like that, so that's probably expensive.
Fresh. Thin.
I don't really like this one, I'll be honest.
I don't like it that much. You don't? What?
I don't like it that much.
Yeah, it's okay.
Maybe
it's like a little light.
I hope that's the cheap one.
It's not terrible.
Wow, that's
All right, let's
goes right down like fire.
This one just has like a more consistent
I
taste.
feel like this is the most expensive.
I'm gonna say the same.
This one is a lot smoother.
Oh, so smooth. It's like drinking a pillow. If that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. I don't know. My vote is for this one. I think this is a more expensive one.
The first one tasted like wine I drink, so I know for sure it's not expensive.
This definitely tastes like the cheaper wine.
To me.
I think it's cheaper too.
Uh-oh.
This one's more expensive.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree
Tasty.
with you. This one definitely has like a better mouthfeel.
Ooh.
You are right.
Yay!
Yes!
This one is definitely
I think
the
it's
expensive
better,
one.
yeah.
This one's so much better.
$260? I should finish this then.
It doesn't taste like $150. No way.
Yeah, I'm not paying $250 for a bottle of wine. I'm just not. It doesn't make sense.
I would just rather drink the Trader Joe's wine, to be honest with you.
And I would prefer to drink this one, just because.
Box wine?
Yeah, I mean this one is like it's like a little thick for me, if that makes sense. A little rich.
I like the lighter one because I really don't drink wine, so I'd probably go for the cheaper bottle. But
yeah. If I had the money, sure.
I'm actually not sure I totally believe that this one is worth, what,
You don't think it's worth $50?
$40 plus more?
Well, I definitely wouldn't spend $150 on a bottle of wine, especially if I thought that it was a cheap wine.
This was a good midday event. Appreciate that.
When many people think of paper-thin, ruby red slices of ham, they think prosciutto from Italy. But the most prestigious and expensive ham in the world hails from Spain, and it's called Jamón Ibérico de Bellota, or acorn-fed Iberico ham.
It almost all just melted on my tongue. I didn't need to chew.
One leg of it, weighing between 13 to 17 pounds, can cost up to $4,500. Just 1 ounce, about enough for a small plate, will set you back up to about $65. Jamón Ibérico de Bellota is a product of Iberico pigs, a rare breed that is high in intramuscular fat and found mostly in Spain. And it's crucial they're raised on a diet of acorns.
There are so many delicious ham options on the market. Why would anyone pay $4,500 for a leg of ham?
Right. Well, you're paying for the jewel of our gastronomy. It's a different breed of pig altogether that is grown and taken care of in a very unique place in the world.
Intriago is co-owner of New York City-based Spanish food importer, De España Brand Foods.
Hola, welcome to De España.
She says Iberico ham isn't as popular as prosciutto in the US, partially because many Americans don't know why luxury Spanish ham is worth its steep price. Spanish brand Dehesa Maladua produces the most expensive Jamón Ibérico de Bellota in the world at $4,500 a leg. But you can't get it in the US.
You don't have a lot of availability or people, distributing because there's not a lot of knowledge of why we would pay so much. What is so special about this?
The most expensive Jamón Ibérico de Bellota available in the US is made by Spanish company Cinco Jotas and costs up to $1,400 for a leg, weighing 14 to 15 pounds. That could change. As demand for Spanish ham grows, more companies could be incentivized to cut through the red tape required to enter the US market.
There's not a lot of companies that are authorized to export. It's a very heavily regulated industry in the US.
Iberico ham has a very short history in the United States. It was first sold in the US in 2007 by Spanish ham producer Fermin. To grow its presence in the US, Intriago is importing Jamón Ibérico de Bellota and Spain's passion for its pork. In Spain, no tapas restaurant or celebratory event is complete without jamón. Serrano ham, made from common so-called white pigs, is a mass-produced staple of the Spanish diet. This is like the Spanish equivalent of prosciutto. But Jamón Ibérico de Bellota is no fast food. Cultivating the pigs and their meat is a slow and exact process that can take up to 10 years. Even the way the meat is served is a performance, often involving a master carver, educated in the precise art of slicing Jamón Ibérico. Iberico pigs often enjoy a more privileged lifestyle than other pigs raised for slaughter. That lifestyle directly impacts the grade and price of the final product. There are 4 different grades of Jamón Ibérico, determined by a pig's diet, whether it was free-range, if it was purebred, and how long the meat was aged. The Jamón's grade is indicated by a colored tag. The most affordable comes from Iberico pigs crossbred with white pigs. The animals are raised on commercial farms and fed a diet of cereals. A green label is for Jamón from non-purebred but free-range Iberico pigs, who eat acorns and grain. A red label is for Jamón made from non-purebred but free-range Iberico pigs raised on a diet of acorns. And finally, a black label is reserved for the very best, Jamón Ibérico de Bellota. To be considered Jamón Ibérico de Bellota, the pigs must be purebred Iberico and spend months, if not years, roaming the Spanish countryside, called the Dehesa, which is covered with acorn-producing trees. There are about 5 acres of land to each pig. so each one can eat its fair share of acorns, or bellotas in Spanish. The most luxurious ham producers allow their pigs to roam free for most of their lives. For Dehesa Maladua, the company behind the most expensive ham in the world, that's 3 years. For Cinco Jotas, which makes the most expensive ham in the US, that's at least 18 months and up to 2 years. You imagine just a farmer, roaming his land with his pigs, there's like a certain romance.
They know the names, they name them, they're like dogs, the Ibericos.
The pigs walk up to 10 miles and gorge on up to 20 pounds of acorns a day. The pig's diet and exercise marbles its meat with healthy fat and infuses it with a nutty, earthy flavor. That's because acorns are full of healthy fatty acids that help to lower cholesterol and protect against cardiovascular disease. Those fatty acids also enhance the flavor of the ham.
It is the secret to get a very good aroma in the final product.
The quality of the fat is a major reason Jamón Ibérico de Bellota is so expensive.
That's one of the things that consumers say, oh, well, I'd like it without the fat. Well, that's part of the product. Part of the product is enjoying this glistening fat. Once you put it in your mouth, it just starts melting.
Yes,
wow, this one's like mostly fat.
Oh, it's gonna be the best.
But getting the ham from pig to plate is just beginning. The curing and aging process is what sets off the chemical reactions that create the ham's famous flavor and texture. Iberico ham typically requires at least 3 years of aging. The ham is covered in salt to begin the dehydration process. The salt diffuses throughout the ham over the course of a couple months, before it's hung to dry for 6 months to a year. Then the ham is aged in a cellar, where its flavors mature and flourish as enzymes in the meat trigger the release of aroma compounds.
It's like wines. As more you age the ham, more flavor you get. And this explains also why it is so expensive, because of the long processing time.
Dehesa Maladua cures its $4,500 legs of ham for 7 years, after raising its pigs for 3 years. That's a 10-year investment. Cinco Jotas cures its $1,400 legs of ham for up to 5 years. So after raising its pigs for 1.5 to 2 years, that's an up to 7-year process. You have to really appreciate the artistry and the journey of making that product in order to be willing to pay the price.
Definitely, and as we explained, a part of that appreciation is being able to say, well, I want to be a part of that story. I want to learn a little bit about that.
I've had plenty of prosciutto and serrano ham in my life, but I'm about to find out what Jamón Ibérico is all about. I'm meeting with Chef Katie Button, who specializes in Spanish cuisine here at D'España in New York City.
Cheers.
We're trying 3 different grades of jamón to find out if Jamón Ibérico de Bellota really is worth the money.
It's the most accessible Spanish ham. It is not Iberico. Take a piece and then just put it on your tongue and let it sit there.
It definitely does not melt on the tongue.
No, you're right.
Yeah. It kind of just sits there.
Yes.
It's a little leathery almost.
It has a chew to it, for sure. Yeah.
It's very, very pungent.
We're gonna try the 100% Iberico breed, but without the acorns. Interesting thing about the Iberico breed is their fat melts at a lower temperature, so that's why it's glistening.
I'm gonna pick one of the fattiest.
You should.
The
That's
fattiest.
The best. I think you picked the best.
Okay, cool.
I'm really jealous, actually. Okay, I'm gonna go for the second fat.
Okay.
Doesn't the fat just kind of disappear?
It did.
Right?
It just disappeared.
And the meat stays.
Yeah.
But it's still softer and not.
It's softer.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's still not super soft.
No. The meat still stays, but all the fat just dissipated.
So this is the most luxurious, expensive ham available here in the United States?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes. Wow, this one's like mostly fat.
Oh, it's gonna be the best.
Okay, that one's gonna be the best.
You should start with that one.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my God. It is silky smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it almost all just melted on my tongue. It's gone. I didn't need to chew.
No.
No, this is so much better than the previous one.
Yeah.
It's just a much more delicate,
it's like heaven,
complex flavor.
I don't know about you, but I have never had ham like this.
No,
You know,
yeah.
like this is so unique and so different
Yeah.
from any other kind of cured ham product in the world.
I'm imagining us sitting outside like a little local restaurant with views of the Mediterranean Sea.
Oh, that
you
would
know,
be amazing.
and like nature.
Right.
And like enjoying a glass of wine with a friend and enjoying the slow life.
It does take you there.
It takes you there.
Long after trying Jamón Ibérico de Bellota for the first time, its flavor and texture stand out so vividly in my mind. The green label Jamón Ibérico was solid, but didn't leave me longing to experience it again weeks later. On special occasions, I'd say it's worth the money to spend twice as much on a culinary experience you'll remember 10 times longer.